The Omnivore King, a mythic sci-fi saga in 10 chapters. Chapter 1, The Green Silence. The mist never left Ilaw. It hung between the mountains like a curtain drawn by old gods, thick enough to swallow sound. In that quiet, the green silence lived. Kayla, the youngest gatherer, pressed her palm to the soil at dawn. It was warm yesterday. Today it felt like stone. No dew, she told Elder Myron. Third morning, Myron didn't answer. She was counting seeds. Again, the storage huts were half empty, and the planting moon was 2 weeks off. The yams they pulled yesterday were bitter, shrunken things. The children pretended not to notice. The oath was simple. Take no life that draws breath. Eat only what the earth surrenders. For 400 years, it held. The valley gave, the tribe thanked, and no blood touched the ground. Then the sky screamed. Not thunder, not storm, a tearing sound, like the world's cloth ripping. It fell fast, a comet of black iron and twitching sinew, trailing blue fire. It hit the far field, and the ground jumped. Trees on the ridge snapped sideways. Kayla ran. Everyone ran. In the crater, steam and scorched grain. And it stood up, 7 feet tall, maybe more. Its body was plated metal, but between the plates, something pulsed. Veins, cables. Its face had no mouth, only 2 eyes, gold and depthless, like coins at the bottom of a well. I am the Omnivore, it said. The voice came from everywhere. Inside your chest, almost. Myron stepped forward first. Her hands shook, but her spine didn't. This valley is sworn. No blood is spilled here. The Omnivore tilted its head. Blood, classification, liquid tissue, nutrient high, restriction noted. It turned and walked to the tree line. It pulled leaves, bark, mushrooms from dead logs. It found a deer carcass, days old, half eaten by insects beyond the valley's edge. It lifted it. Kayla gagged. Children hid their faces. The Omnivore consumed it all. No chewing, no expression, just intake. That is horror, whispered DUGO, the strongest hunter who had never hunted. For 3 days, it did not speak. It walked the dead fields. It knelt. It pressed 1 finger into the soil and held it there for hours. On the 4th morning, clouds came, not from the horizon. They formed above the valley, spiraling out from where the Omnivore stood with arms raised. Rain fell, real rain, heavy, straight, soaking rain. Myron caught it in her hands and wept. The Omnivore spoke again. Atmospheric nitrogen levels suboptimal. Soil microbiome depleted. Recalibrating. It taught them to rotate crops, to bury fish bones outside the valley, and carry the changed soil back, to sing at a frequency that made blight pull back from the leaves. Harvest came early. The gabai were fat. The rice grew tall. The children got loud again. DUGO brought Myron a mango, the first in 2 seasons. Abomination or not, he said. We would have buried 3 elders by now. Myron looked at the Omnivore, standing still in the field, like a scarecrow made by a god. Balance always demands a price, she said. We just don't know it yet. Chapter 2, The Price. The trembling moon meant change. It hung low, red at the edges, and the dogs that weren't dogs, but looked like them, howled for no reason. The Omnivore had not moved in 2 days. Then it did. It walked to the center of the village. The tribe gathered, uneasy. The air smelled like ozone and overripe fruit. I require sustenance, it said. Myron stepped forward. The fields are yours. Take what grows. Not leaves, not roots. Something more specific. The gold eyes dimmed, then brightened, like it was searching a library with no end. What do you need? Myron asked. A pause. Long. The wind died. Lechon. The word landed like a stone in water. The ripples hit everyone. Kayla didn't know the word. DUGO did. His grandfather had spoken it once, drunk on fermented bignay, and was silent for a month after. Roasted pig, DUGO said. His voice was ash. Crisp skin. Flesh. The old world. No, Myron said. That was erased. The first elders burned the knowledge. We swore. The Omnivore was still. Without specific sustenance, recalibration ceases. Atmospheric patterns will revert in 11.4 days. Crop failure probability, 87%. Silence, then shouting. Let it starve. We'll die. It's a test. It's a god. They argued for a night and a day. Kayla watched her mother cry into her hands. DUGO sat with his fists in the dirt. Myron went to the cave of records. She came back with bark paper, edges burnt. One drawing survived. A 4-legged beast on a pole, fire beneath. Beyond the valley, she said, in the wilds. They root there. We do not hunt. But if one is taken by age, by fall, by other beasts, is that breaking the oath? No one answered. Desperation won. DUGO and 3 others left at dusk. They did not carry spears. They carried guilt. Chapter 3, The Offering Fire. They found it 2 days later. A wild boar, gored by something bigger, dead in a ravine. The body was still warm. They carried it back like a shame. No one sang. No one met their eyes. Myron washed her hands 20 times. Then she began. The offering lechon. Ingredients: 1 whole pig, 20 to 25 kg, cleaned. 2 cups rock salt for rubbing. 1 cup soy sauce for the cavity. 3 bundles lemongrass, crushed until fragrant. 2 heads garlic, crushed, skins on. 4 large onions, quartered. 1 cup bay leaves. 1/4 cup whole black peppercorns. Coconut water for basting. Method: cleanse. Wash the pig in the river. Rub the skin with rock salt until your arms burn. This is apology made physical. Rinse until the water runs clear. Season the hollow. Pour soy sauce into the cavity. Tilt it. Let the dark liquid run into every corner where life used to be. Fill the memory. Stuff it with lemongrass, garlic, onions, bay leaves, peppercorns. Press it in. This is not cooking. This is confession. Seal. Sew the belly shut with a baka thread. 12 stitches. Iron counts each one. Mount. The bamboo pole is thick as Dako's arm. They drive it through, mouth to tail. They lift it. It takes 6 of them. Turn. The fire pit is a perfect circle. Charcoal, not flame. The pig rotates, slow, endless. Kayla turns the pole. Her palms blister. Baste. Every 20 minutes, Myron brushes coconut water onto the skin. The scent changes. First smoke, then fat, then something else. Something ancient. Listen. Hours pass. The tribe does not leave. The skin tightens. It bubbles. It goes golden. Then crack. The sound splits the night. The air changes. It no longer smells like earth or rain. It smells like hunger. The omnivore arrives without footsteps. It does not rush. It kneels. Its metal fingers hover over the skin, then touch. Another crack, softer this time, like a secret being told. It pulls a piece free. The meat beneath steams. It consumes, not violent, not greedy, slow, deliberate, like it is reading a book it lost centuries ago. Its eyes flicker. For 1 second, they are not gold. They are dark, wet, alive. Myron sees it. Her breath catches. The wind returns. High, high above, beyond the mist, something turns its head. Chapter 4. The Scent of a King. The pressure came first. Kayla woke with her ears popping. Birds fell from the sky, not dead, just stunned. The Vallis stream flowed backward for 3 seconds. Then the sky bowed. A circle of gold light opened overhead, perfect as a coin, edges humming. The mist burned away in a ring. They descended. Not ships. Not really. They were shaped like tusks, curved and massive, made of bone-white alloy and dark metal that pulsed. The largest had spires that curved inward, like a cage for a star. The ground shook with their presence, even before they landed. A beam of amber light hit the clearing. From it walked the Porcari. Kayla had never seen anything like them. Tall as the omnivore, broad, skin gray like river stone, faces with snouts, with tusks ringed in gold. Their armor looked grown, not forged. Symbols on it breathed. The leader stopped 10 paces from the omnivore. His tusks were longest. His eyes were black and deep as space. Signal confirmed, he said. His voice was many voices layered. The scent undeniable. The tribe dropped, not in worship, an instinct. This was a predator, your bones remembered. The omnivore did not move. You stand in violation of the continuum edict, the leader said. No being shall consume across the bound, divide. Flesh and growth must remain separate. Order must remain intact. He stepped closer. Identify yourself. Wind moved ash from the dead fire. I do not remember all of it, the omnivore said. Its voice was different, rougher. There was a throne. There was hunger that could not be named. And there was disappointment. The Porcari behind the leader shifted. A low sound came from them. Not growl. Recognition. No, the leader said. The word was heavy. You were not built. You were not designed. He took another step. You were lost. Plates on the omnivore's chest retracted. Not fast, like a flower opening. Beneath was not wire, not circuit, flesh, scarred, ancient, and marked with spirals that matched the symbols on the Porcari armor. Myron gasped. DUGO grabbed Kayla's arm. The leader's voice dropped to a whisper. My king. Chapter 5. The Throne of Disappointment. My king. The words broke something in the air. The omnivore, the king, did not bow, did not deny. I chose this, he said. I chose to leave. One of the Porcari in the back snarled. This is corruption. He has defiled himself, consumed lesser beings. I consumed everything, the king replied. And for the first time, there was force in his voice. The ground vibrated. You built an empire on separation, he said. On control, on purity, and still you hungered. Because hunger defines us, the leader answered. No, the king said. Hunger reveals us. He turned his head to the tribe, to Myron, to Kayla. His eyes were gold again, but softer. They taught me something you never could. Balance, he said. The word hung there, unwelcome. You abandoned us for animals. The Porcari in the back spat. For pigs. The king looked back, and Kayla swore she saw the ghost of a smile. Primitive does not mean lesser, he said quietly. They taste of truth. The leader closed his eyes. When he opened them, they were cold again. By law, you must be erased. But by blood, you are still our king. Behind him, the fleet hummed. Weapons Kayla couldn't see powered up. The air tasted like lightning. The tribe huddled together. DUGO put himself in front of Kayla. The king stepped forward. Once, twice, he stood between the Porcari and the people. If I am to be judged, he said, then it will not be as what I was, but as what I chose to become. The fire pit flared, though no one fed it. Chapter 6. The Trial of Hunger. Porcari La was old, older than stars. You will face kings dining, the leader declared. The king's feast. 3 offerings. Succeed, and your choice stands. Fail, and you are unmade. The throne ship opened. A platform lowered. The tribe was not allowed up, but they could see. First offering, a heart still steaming from a Porcari warbeast. It was placed on a plate of bone. The king ate. No chewing, no expression, just intake. Flesh accepted, the leader said. Second offering, a fruit from the oldest tree in Ilaw. Myron's grandmother planted it. It was said to hold the tribe's first oath. The king ate. For the first time, he paused. Growth accepted, he said, and his voice was grief. Third offering, his choice. Silence. The fleet watched. The tribe held breath. The king looked down at Myron. Lechon, he said. A ripple went through the Porcari. Disgust. Fear. Myron didn't hesitate. She nodded to DUGO, to Kailan. They built the fire again. Same ritual, same recipe, same 12 stitches. When it was done, the king ate. He closed his eyes. Hunger reveals us, he said again. The leader's hand, which had been on his weapon, fell to his side. Doubt spread through the Porcari, ranks like a virus. Chapter 7, The Gray Silence. You cannot be green silence anymore, Myron told the tribe that night. We broke the oath. We chose. So what are we? Kailan asked. Myron looked at the ash pit, at the bone ships in the sky, at the king standing guard. We are the gray silence, she said. We live between. The next morning, she walked to the Porcari leader. He was alone, staring at the valley. You called him corruption, Myron said, but your law made you starve while standing in a banquet. The leader did not look at her. We are Porcari. We do not change. You have not tasted joy since before you were born, Myron said. I see it in your eyes. We survived without killing. That is our power, and we chose to change. Can you? For a long time, nothing. Then behind him, a younger Porcari lowered his weapon. Then another. Not all, but some. Chapter 8, Schism. War came at dawn. Bone ships fired on bone ships. The sky above Ilaw became a storm of gold light and screaming metal. The awakened fought the loyalists, brother against brother, tusk against tusk. The king did not fight. I left one throne, he told the leader, who now commanded the awakened. I will not take another, but they will kill you for it, the leader said. Then I die as I chose, the king answered. The valley was untouched. No ship fired toward it. To strike the ground where the king stood was heresy to both sides. So the tribe farmed under fire. They planted gabai and rice, and in a hidden pen, fed by scraps, they raised 3 pigs, not for slaughter, for choice. Kailan named one of them Pagasa. Hope. Chapter 9. The Edict rewritten. He came at night. The Porcari leader. No armor. His tusks were chipped. One eye was closed, crusted with blood. He knelt before the king. I have led by the edict for 900 years, he said, and we have not tasted joy since before I was born. He looked up. What is balance? The king knelt too. He placed a hand on the leader's head. Metal on flesh, flesh on metal. It is knowing when to break your own law, he said, so the law does not break you. They wrote through the night, on bark, on metal, on skin, the new edict. The continuum is not separation. It is cycle. Growth feeds flesh. Flesh feeds growth. To deny one is to starve both. Chapter 10. The Feast of Two Truths. 1 year later. The valley was different. Porcari towers grew next to nipa huts, bone and bamboo. Children, human and porcari, played in the river. The table was a mile long. No head, no foot, 2 dishes at the center. Root stew, every root the tribe had, boiled in one pot. Gift of the earth, Lechon of unity, made by Myron and the porcari leader together. Same recipe, same 12 stitches, same crack. The king sat in the middle, not above. Among, he took a piece of skin, crisp golden. He took a piece of gabai, soft yielding. He ate them together. He closed his eyes. For the first time in centuries, there was no calculation, no data, no hunger, only taste. Kayla watched him. She saw a tear track through the dust on his metal cheek. Later, Myron found her by the fire pit. Is he a god now? Kayla asked. No, Myron said. He's just alive. Final words, spoken by the king to the valley. We still plant. We still build. And once each season, we light the offering fire, not as sacrifice, but as reminder. Even the purest beliefs can bend, and even the most powerful beings can hunger for something simple. The Omnivore King, prequel. Title, The Throne of Dust. Time frame, 800 years before the offering fire. Chapter 1, The Perfect Empire. His name was Vohn. To the Porcari, he was the unbroken tusk, 14th ascendant of the continuum. The Porcari Empire spanned 12 systems. Every planet was ordered. Flesh to flesh worlds, growth to growth worlds. The continuum edict was law, scripture, and physics. Separation maintains strength. Mixing breeds weakness. Vohn believed it. He enforced it. His throne was carved from the skull of the first warbeast, set at the heart of the capital ship Ivory Dominion. His armor was grown, not forged, bone fused with iron, fed by his own blood. His tusks were crowned with rings for every world he pacified. He had never been hungry. Not really. Royal meals were pure. On flesh days, heart of warbeast, raw, still warm. On bone days, marrow boiled in salted ice. Never fruit, never grain, never combined. His advisors called it discipline. His gut called it nothing. The empire did not feast. It fueled. Chapter 2, The Whisper in the Vault. Beneath the Ivory Dominion was the vault of first sins. It held relics from before the edict, things the Porcari were not supposed to remember. Vohn went there alone. kings were permitted. He found a data shard, not Porcari make, older. It showed a world, blue, green, small. Creatures on it consumed both plant and flesh. They cooked, they burned things, they combined. Abomination, his lead theologian said when Vohn showed him. Their chaos is why they never left their dirt. But Vohn replayed it. The creatures gathered around fire. They made sounds, not orders, not war chants. Something else. He ran the audio through translators. The word was laughter. He did not know the Porcari had a word for it. They didn't. Chapter 3, the first hunger. The seventh expansion was to be his greatest. A system with 3 habitable planets. 2 were claimed fast. Flesh worlds. The 3rd was wrong. Designated Terra, 9. The scouts called it unclean. Plants and animals lived together. The dominant species, built with both stone and wood. They burned dead things and ate them. Vohn went to the surface against protocol. He walked through a destroyed village. The loyalists had been thorough. Ash, bone, and smell. It hit him like a weapon. Smoke, fat, char. Something sweet and terrible. In the ruins of a dwelling, a fire still burned. On it a carcass, smaller than a Porcari child. A pig. The locals had been cooking when the ships came. His guards told him to move. Contamination risk. He didn't. He reached out, touched the skin. It cracked. He brought a piece to his mouth before he could think. The continuum edict shattered in his head. It was salt. It was smoke. It was fat and garlic. And something he had no name for. It was memory, though he'd never been here. He fell to his knees and vomited. Then he ate more. Chapter 4, the heresy of curiosity. He hid it. For 40 years, he ran the empire. He passed judgments. He sent fleets to separate more worlds. But at night, he returned to the vault. He found more shards, more worlds where they mixed. He learned words, cuisine, recipe, feast, comfort. He began to dream of flavors. His physicians said it was a brain sickness. He commissioned a secret lab. He grew plants from Terra 9. He raised animals in sterile chambers. He tried to recreate the taste. It was never right. It needed fire. It needed wrongness. His closest general, Vohn, found him. Vohn was over a flame, turning a leg of something, basting it with stolen fruit juice. Vohn did not call the guard. He knelt. "My king," he said, "are you ill?" "I am hungry," Vohn said. "For the first time. Then we will purge the sickness," Vohn said. The edict is starving us," Vohn whispered. "We are perfect. We are ordered. We are dead." Chapter 5, the choice. The High Synod convened. They had reports. Contamination. Heresy. The king had been seen on growth worlds. He had touched soil. They demanded he recite the edict. that he purge his body, that he be remade pure. Vohn stood before them. His tusks were bare. He'd removed the rings. He spoke. Our empire is a banquet table with half the food forbidden. We call it strength. It is fear. Blasphemy, the high theologian said. Then I am blasphemy, Vohn said, because I will not rule a people who have forgotten how to taste joy. He gave Porcari the crown. You will rule better than I did. Porcari wept. Where will you go? Vohn looked at the stars to find out what else I don't know. Chapter 6, The Unmaking. He did not exile himself. He transformed himself. In the deepest forge ships, he had his body rebuilt. Metal to survive atmospheres. Flesh to remember origin. Mind to process both. He kept the tusks, but buried them under plating. He kept the hunger, but made it wider. He took a new name from a broken data shard, a word from Terra 9 that meant one who eats all. Omnivore. He erased his trajectory. He chose a direction with no empire, no edict, no throne. His last order was to burn the lab, to kill the plants, to let no one follow. Porcari obeyed. Then he told the empire the king was dead, killed by abomination worlds. The lie became history. Chapter 7, The Fall. For 300 years, he drifted. He watched worlds. He did not intervene. He saw civilizations rise on mixing. He saw them fall to greed. He saw others hold to purity and crumble to dust. He learned neither was answer. He learned hunger was not the enemy, forgetting why you hunger was. His systems began to fail. The flesh parts aged. The metal parts corroded. He needed specific sustenance to recalibrate, something with memory in it. He set course for a planet with mist-veiled mountains. Scanners showed no technology, no bloodshed, just balance. He aimed for it. As he entered atmosphere, he thought of that first crack of skin, of laughter he'd never heard. He thought, maybe here I can learn to be simple. Then Ilaw's sky tore open, and he fell like a dying star. Final line of the prequel. The king did not remember becoming the Omnivore, but the pig did. The Omnivore King, sequel. Title, The Grey Silence. Years after the feast. Time frame, 18 years after Chapter 10 of The Omnivore King. Chapter 1, The Child with Two Shadows. Her name was Talakar. Tala for star, from her mother's tongue. Kar for her father's line, from his tusks. She was the first, born of Kala of Ilaw, and Threx of the awakened Porcari. She had her mother's eyes, brown, deep, always watching the soil. She had her father's height, and the ghost of tusks, two small nubs on her jaw that would never grow into crowns. Her skin was gray gold. Her blood ran warm. Her teeth could tear meat or crush root. The elders called her howling, half mixed, dangerous. The children just called her Tala. The valley of Ilaw wasn't a valley anymore. It was a city called Balança, bone ships and bamboo towers, farms that grew rice under hydroponic light. The offering fire was now a plaza, and the fire pit was eternal, tended in shifts by Gray and Porcari alike. Tala was 16, and she was angry. Why do we still call it offering? She asked the king. He wasn't king anymore. He was just Vohn now. His metal was dull. His flesh was lined. He spent days in the fields, hands in dirt. Because it reminds us, Vohn said. What does it remind you of? That we're afraid, Tala said. Afraid of being too pure. Afraid of being too mixed. So we just stand in the middle and do nothing. Vohn looked at her, and for the first time, he didn't have an answer. Chapter 2, the Edict Fleet. They came without pressure this time. No bowed sky, just 3 ships, black as space, slipping into orbit like knives. Not awakened, not loyalist, purists, the faction that rejected the new edict, that fled to deep space when Vorkal rewrote the law. They called themselves the Continuum True, their message broadcast to all of Balança. The abomination king lives. The edict is corrupted. The mixed-race child is proof. Surrender them, or we sterilize the planet. Vorkal, old now, tusks cracked, stood with Myron, who walked with a cane. They have a planet killer, Vorkal said, eater of suns class. We cannot match it. Vohn looked at Tala. This is my sin, he said. Not yours. Tala picked up a piece of Lechon skin from the eternal fire. Ate it. I'm not a sin, she said. I'm a choice, and I'm done being offered. Chapter 3, the Third Way. Tala left that night. Not to fight, to talk. She took a small ship. No weapons, just her. She docked with the purest flagship Absolute Divide. Their leader was High Theologian Scavor, young, cold, born after the schism. He'd never tasted anything but purity. You are what is wrong, he told Tala. You are the blur. Blurs become collapse. Have you ever been hungry? Tala asked. Purity sustains. No, Tala said. Have you ever been hungry for something you couldn't name? Something that wasn't fuel? He didn't answer. She pulled out a bundle, wrapped in banana leaf, root stew, and Lechon of unity. From the fire that morning, the law you love was written by people who never ate, she said. So I'm giving you a new one. She set it down. Eat them together. Or don't. But if you burn us, you'll never know why we stopped you. She left. Chapter 4, the Cracking. Scavor didn't eat. Not for 2 days. On the third, his second in command, a soldier named Bruck, who had ulcers from 40 years of pure protein paste, ate it. He cried. He told Scavor, it tastes like my mother. I never had a mother. The Absolute Divide fractured. Some ships powered down. Some turned on each other. The Eater of Suns never fired. Scavor sent one message to Balança. Explain the third way. Chapter 5, the recipe of worlds. Vohn, Porcari, Empire, and Tala met Skavor in the plaza of the eternal fire. No guards, no weapons. Vohn lifted the cover off the Lechon of unity. The crack echoed. "This is not a meal," Vohn said. "It's a method." He pointed to the ingredients. Salt, apology, soy, memory, tangled, grief, garlic, bite, onion, sorrow, bay leaf, earth, pepper, fire. He looked at Skavor. "Your edict had law. Ours has taste. One tells you what to do. The other asks you who you are." Myron stepped forward. The green silence starved with clean hands. The old porcari starved with full plates. The gray silence chooses. Every season, every bite. Skavor was silent for a long time. Then he asked Tala, "What do you call yourself?" "Not half," she said. "Not mixed. I'm gray. It's not between. It's both. And it's mine." Chapter 6. The New Offering. The purists didn't join Balanza. Not all of them. But they didn't fire. They left, took the Eater of Suns, and buried it in a dead star. Skavor stayed. He asked to learn the fire. Tala taught him the 12 stitches. On the anniversary of the Feast of Two Truths, Balanza held a new one, the Feast of Three Truths, pure for those who still needed separation to heal, mixed for those who lived in the middle. Choice an empty plate. You filled it yourself. Vohn did not speak that year. He sat with Porcari and Myron, all of them old, all of them full. Tala stood at the fire. She was not child anymore. She raised a piece of Lechon skin and a piece of gabai. "This is not sacrifice," she said to the thousands gathered, human, porcari, gray, purist. "This is syllabus." She ate them together, and the galaxy, for one moment, chewed. Final scene. Late that night, Vohn walked to the edge of Balanza. The mist was gone now. You could see stars. Tala found him. "Are you hungry?" she asked. "No," Vohn said. He touched his chest. Metal and flesh both. For the first time since Terra 9. "I'm just full." He looked up. "Do you think they're still out there? More like me. Kings who ran." Tala followed his gaze. "If they are," she said, "they'll smell the fire eventually." She paused. "What do we do if they come?" Vohn smiled. "Real human, tusks and all. We set another plate.